went to take some laundry out. And then I made myself a cup of coffee since I didn't have any detergent. So I was like, oh, super bitter, super sour. Let's see if I can make myself a cup of coffee. Made myself like a pretty lackluster cup of coffee. Iced coffee. I don't know why it's tasting kind of awfully. There's too much, like, the creamer just coagulates or separates. I should never feel bad about erasing a person from my friends list, is what I started realizing. Mainly after this last series, like that last series of people that you saw on that notification board was all the people that had was not all the people that I erased, but one of them in the list was a female that I erased. But it's because they get into my dream states, lucid astral projections, technically 100% 24/7 projections that you see all day throughout your day. I transitioned these schizophrenic hallucinations to just basically be like magnifying glasses throughout my eyes. So instead of being obstructions of like people or hallucinations that I would see, or fucking horse going around sleeping with pedophiles next to me, it turned out to be I would just use it as like magnifying glasses to make sure my eyes would like see better, so to speak. Like I guess I would just highlight objects and stuff with it. Oh wait, no, never mind. That was with the clean stuff. Sorry. That was with the parts of the parts where I was at to draw attention away. Sorry, that's why I'm so fucking tired right now. I'll draw attention away by changing whatever situation they have, like my body. Like I just, instead of the indicators or the points of interest that they would be indicating towards, I would change those points of interest to like magnifying glasses at like spots that I was looking at. So, but I mean, I wouldn't do it on purpose. Like I basically, it was like an example for something completely different prior to them like going around doing all this sick sad loot shit. And I was like, all right, well that's not that. It was before that even happened. They basically just transitioned everything clean that I was doing, like imagining, like doing basic 3D projection imaginations, hologram imaginations in front of me. That's to imagine what design I would actually transition a design to, almost like changing a car's aerodynamics right in front of me. Doing like a laser projection overlay to embellish the points that I was altering. So they started altering it, and the more nights I would actually sleep and not be able to get away from these demons, as they're considered. Pedophiles is really what they are, but they would like night after night, they would transition any of my control back to their own stuff, so they would switch what the objects would look like. But either way, so whatever. So that whore right now, like she tried, just in case it gets half of this stuff, since it's recorded, people are automatically inclined to look at certain points of interest, and then through lucid dreams, astral projections, and through the right companies, it's easy to draw upon what emotions they're trying to bleed out to the viewer, as if like it's sorrow. It's like sorrow, but they'll sell it to since they're siding with pedophiles that transition everything and rape them of everything. Your kids or viewers or whatever will technically see not sorrow, but will be baited and then used and then run through for all their assets and then covered up as a VPN that basically shows their face smiling instead of their face in a frown, kind of like the little clown in the sorry, kind of like the little character, kind of like the clowns made the little character just like jump up and enjoy and whatever. But they use them for everything. Basically, they mine them for their ingenuity. They mine them for every bit of information that they'll get. In this country, in the U.S., it's not technically that illegal. It's illegal technically, because you're doing a lot of breaking and entering, illegal crimes. Basically, everything's illegal that you're doing because you're not me. Basically, regardless, even if you're me, it's illegal because it's just me that basically controlled and basically managed everything to where every person eventually got their own individuality instead of having to go to other people for help. So that's why it's illegal, regardless of what it's sold as, whatever. Every person has to learn, right? Every person has to have their own chance. Every person has to have that exact right chance. Otherwise, a pedophile is roaming around using their one chance every single time and gaining mass popularity and claiming to be one or one and the same as them, and then rapes them for the rest of their life. It's not really eternal youth, but eventually the pedophiles die. But I mean, as they showed in some of those 6-ad animes like Naruto, the pedophile whores don't die. They just use their fucking illusions and look younger. Oh wait, nowadays it's called modern technology, aka plastic surgery, aka lotions, aka the right maintenance with the right lotions, eradicate plastic surgery. So I mean, there's lotions, gels, goops. I mean, we've all seen it in science fiction films. You're all just part of the mass propaganda of consumerism opposed to privatism. Privateers, I think they're considered privateers. Kind of like angel investors, but they're prior to becoming or losing their notoriety and fame and having to go out into the real world and become an angel investor. So they're considered privateers. They gain all their funds and funding through every which way possible, so they never have to rely on. They gain their funding through private. Well, actually, basically same regular consumer type transactions, except they do all private work, generate their billions behind the scenes. They never release out to the public. They do like let's say they create they take their whole software engineering degree, and instead of going and joining Microsoft, they go and learn everything about Microsoft, and they code people their individual operating systems similar to Microsoft, whether they use since it's like published, my language method, what was it? My translation methods and whatnot. Like they go around, like some of these privateers gain a lot of funds because they do algorithms and search engines that basically track anything that's published, that's good notoriety, that can gain them money, anything that's patented, stuff of that nature, and then they add it to their products as soon as possible. And since in the US there's certain laws that protect private organizations that do stuff like this, that don't sell at the consumer level and aren't plagiarizing, they're technically just recoding environments and stuff that's technically out in the as long as it's done in within legal standards, it's legal, because you're not reverse engineering any operating systems, you're not doing anything of that nature, you're just recoding the environments for the people. So there's like a sense of legal, there's a legal stance, I forget what it was considered, because you're just coding, and you're just coding them their own individual environment. So that's just a person asking for not custom, it's considered, it's like I think it is considered custom. Might be custom, but I forget the main word. But either way, they pay them for custom work, and that's how they make their millions, billions, thousands. And as long as they're not selling it at like a mass level, and they're just coding supposedly, like, I mean, this is just like a basic example of like how some of these companies will use a few laws and avoid everything. I mean, all the contracting systems also. I mean, all the recent contracting systems use my contracting system within like a few months of me realizing it, setting up a contracting network, and just not having the funds to do anything. Not having the funds to do anything, but whatever. I mean, I'm not saying that some of these coders will gain billions or anything of that nature, but they still gain like a good few $100,000 per year. It's simplified dynamics. Oh, but it's taking work that's already done, patented, published, but legally able to recreate it. And just not advertise or do anything. It's like building a house. There's like a legal stance to it. You can't, I mean, after you pay your basic fees, you don't have to really, unless you're building a prefabbed or a blueprint that you have to pay for the patents for. If it's like a generic house, published, not so much published, but like already like a generic, basic, generic design. There you go. Yeah, generic designs can't be patented. So like, let's say it's a generic design based off of like a modern patent. The patent, if you use the generic designs and whatnot, it's legal. It's just once you go into too far of using the whole generic system, that's where it becomes kind of illegal. You still stand a high chance to get sued, but you're not gonna get sued. You're more likely to get killed. It was that anime after I turned Gates into a junkie, into a drug junkie, because I created anime drugs, hallucinations, the best of the best everything. But after they had Gates in an anime being a junkie, I forget the anime. It's like some 5-6 years ago. I would totally believe that they would go around killing their people before they would. I mean, not their people, but random coders before they would. I mean, random people. Sorry, I don't know why I said coders. Random people, like any business, would kill off any random person pushing anything similar in any territory that they're readily available at. Not to say that they'll go like 500 miles out of their way to like kill you, but they'll go like 5, 10, 15 feet. If it's only like 5, 10, 15 feet to cover up your body, it's like a double win. Free kill, free cover up, easy, clean sweep. Can't do anything about that. So they do it, and they do it often. I don't mean for simple stuff, but I mean like anything. Well, I guess once they get pissed and you start stomping on their actual territory, on their actual private clients that they've been privately catering to, altering their computer systems for and everything and whatnot, and you somehow get in, even if it is for just one trial, one system, it's like enough for them to get. I mean, and I say this because I know, due to the fact from personal experience, they'll play it off as like, oh, it's not a big deal, but that's not them playing it off. That's not the client playing it off. It's actually just how they were already trained or already scripted into, ran through by the previous corporation or whatever. So they already subliminally or subconsciously have them in check, mainly when it's a big name corporation or big name place that has money, or not just money, but like resources. Or at least like resources that are knowledge and whatnot, like churches and shit behind, and not really backing them, because churches are scum, but like endorsing their scum work. That's the same as the scum shit, pedophile fucking shit blown scum pedophile. That was considered a church. So it's like, oh no, those aren't rape techniques. That's what I picked up on your wife. Oh, I mean, whoops, on a wife. That's how I picked a wife. As long as I word it right, it doesn't sound like we went around raping your resources and assets. It just sounds like we went and fucked a wife. A wife. Oh, a wife was what I was trying to say. That's how I got a wife into bed with me. Yeah, fat old me. You would never imagine it. It's called rape. Enticing a female with money in the U.S. is considered rape. Prostitution, rape. It's considered prostitution, but due to the fact that it's considered rape, because you're raping them out of their senses by giving them something that they would have never gotten for their sick, sad fucking reality. And if they're pretty females, then it's just like raping them out of their reality, telling them that they have to get paid for their extraneous resources and stuff of that nature. They have to learn to generate more funds. I've heard it all. I've heard it all. It's so disturbing, man. It's crazy. Savage. Pedophile whores don't see it as such, so that's why it was considered prostitution instead of rape. Because they cover it up, almost like the sick, sad churches or the pedophiles that have like extraneous resources called knowledge. They'll cover it up through scripting and senses of that nature, and it's instead of statutory rape or anything of that nature by them claiming to be the person that they're attracted to, it's considered variants or forms of statutory rape where they induce the nostalgic feeling of it not being rape or anything of that nature, and them generating off of the rape. So they'll transition it to where half these people are like the females, the pedophiles. Sorry, the whores. They're considered pedophiles, but the pedophiles that basically go around finding other pedophile whores for their pedophiles, or like part of the pedophile network, whatever. And the whores will be like, "Oh, well, I got paid for it by fame and popularity and everything, so I didn't consider it rape." So the government's like, "That's considered prostitution." Because then the next fucking pedophile bitch that comes to us and screams rape is being fucking serious, because you fucking stupid ass pedophile whores are actually fucking pretty, while this pedophile bitch is some ugly fucking horrendous frog. Toad fucking bitch isn't even what the fucking pedophile whore is. It's a fucking ugly like frog when they were looking for ugly fucking pedophile toads to even throw around. So, I mean, I could see why the fucking ugly pedophile frog-looking pedophile bitch complained and claimed it as rape. Now we're all getting sued by all the other fucking countries because you pedophiles thought it'd be a joke to go around with fucking prostitutes that use fucking pedophile fucking systems for their fucking prostitution. So what the fuck makes you think that we're not going to consider it prostitution? Stupid-ass pedophile fucking scum. Well, he paid me with like his dick, and all the other little pedophiles that raped all these other little pedophile bitches and became famous. So like, I forget what fucking bitches say after that point. Oh man, I don't mock people for that reason. They ruined everything about me. Thought I'd have no chance just because, I mean, I knew I had no chance, actually. Thought I'd have no chance because I said, oh, I already have no chance. Well, no, I might as well just, like, go on killing sprees or something. And they even said that they wouldn't catch me. That's a fucking lie. But that's legitimately how it happened. probably even have pedophiles. There's probably even pedophiles roaming around killing people in the background just because I said it. So now I see why the government gets so pissed off at me and actually regulated my internet connection the last time I told them I was gonna fucking do something because I got so pissed that they probably have pedophiles roaming around actually killing people in the background that these pedophiles are covering up for. So I can't wait until I actually find a gun to shoot these pedophiles through their heads and eventually just roam around through these supposed government-like areas. Or sorry, throughout the country. Any of their supposed agents that violated my rights in self-defense, I guess I would go around teeing off on. Headshots all day. That's what teeing off is considered. Just in case their pedophiles lie about their pedophiles roaming around killing innocent civilians just because a pedophile went around claiming to not have raped countless females in the area or in the cities that these pedophiles have just recently created their newest field offices in and claimed to not have. It's not really a threat. I mean, it's never a threat, sorry. I'm just stating my self-defense grounds. Off of them due to the fact that they're about to manipulate anything and everything else that I say. Just because I get really, really aggravated and irritated, and I don't really take it to the next level. It's already been taken to the next level. I mean, dude, I got plagiarized for everything that the pedophiles even go around from country to country, trying to cover up their systems with my systems. I mean, Uber was a prostitution and drug ring that I basically created, that they sold in Europe because it was easier to cover up all the internet activity. I mean, if I had the money, is how I started this, I'd be selling. I'd be not taking advantage, but profiteering is what it's considered. I'd be profiting off of every single illegal activity, any activity throughout the world. That's not going to get caught because the cops or the government chose to let some of this roam around. So I was like, oh, well, fuck, dude, I'm gonna take it to the next level. I'm going to be more than just, I mean, I already am the Red Bull of Red Bull. So I guess I'm going to be the Red Bull of drugs, too. So I'm just going to take it to that level. So the pedophiles got mad, and they're like, oh, no, you're not. That's my game. We raped all your shit, raped everything. You're telling me there's a way for you to do it, like, in a way. Let me see. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? And I basically explained my, like, structure. Uber shows up a few years later in the media as some supposed taxi company. Everyone's like, oh, we know what type of taxi that was. Prostitution, drug rings, everything of that nature. And it was all private companies that were just prostituting and selling drugs and avoiding everything by claiming to be a private taxi company or a private escort. Like a security system, because I would have covered it up as like the most legal entities that I would have avoided any subpoenas, everything as much time as possible. So they got mad. So the best drugs, and I don't give a fuck what the government tries to say. And I'm like, well, you fucking dumb pedophiles know of all the pedophiles that went around raping and plagiarizing all my fucking work, and you pedophiles are going to try to throw me in for your fucking six-ad pedophile inability to find better drugs than what I have? Go fucking die, dumb pedophile bitch. So they get mad, and then they get aggroed out. They're like, how's your shit drugs that you get in your shit little town better than my fucking, like, Peruvian fucking whatever? And I'm like, dude, I get it straight from fucking Colombia, Costa Rica. Whether it's cut or not, it's still the highest grade, and then it's just cut with nothing but... Oh, whoops. Yeah, that's why. Oh, wait, it's just how I sell it is what I ended up selling to them, but... It's due to the fact that I would process my drugs so well. I won't even explain it, because then they got mad because I put nutrients and everything in my drugs, boosters, heighteners. Instead of cutting it with like anything negative, I basically just cut it like a doctor would have cut it for a patient. Made some super dank mixes. They got super mad. This was all before they like set up the whole Uber structure a few months. saying that I sold drugs. I'm just saying that I like drugs. It's hilarious. Oh, man. Oh, no, I'm the best at drugs. Maintaining and managing drugs. Dude, I don't even see where these scrubs are at. Oh, you have got to be kidding me. We were surrounded. Well, whatever. So this is how they got into all my stuff, just due to the fact that, oh, sorry. Oh, that's a bad way to result it, but whatever. This is how they lied about everything that got plagiarized. Just due to the fact that I was joking, or not really joking around, but... Man. Oh, I avoided jokes. I avoided even covering it up as a joke. Oh no, it's... Dang it. What was it, man? I just gotta stop saying joking around. Whatever. Oh no, that's what it was. That's how I got like the mass popularity. It was just off the fact that I was cutting everything. Not even to get more product or anything. I was just creating a better eye. I didn't care. I was like, whatever, man. I'm eventually gonna leave this country and go to another country anyways, because they're plagiarizing everything here, there, everywhere. So I was just running through every resource possible. It was such a challenge to deal with. Parachute, paraglider outfit is supposed to be my drug days. The two little pins, the EpiPens on the side, or sorry, not EpiPens, the glow sticks were supposedly EpiPens, different style of EpiPens. Like med kits out in the field and whatnot. One was like an accelerant, basically. I forget what it was exactly. It's like a bomb suit. It was like a joke. That's where they're joking around saying that. With the analogies, it was like a joke. I came up with like a super epic analogy. Whatever, whatever. It was legal. It was legal. Oh, that's how it happened. So the reason the drug era happened was because I was in my dream states. It was when I had completely stopped doing anything and everything. I had basically repurposed, got plagiarized for everything. I guess by this point I didn't really know it. The government knew it. They were in my dream states, and I was already creating like labs and whatnot, physics labs and dream states of that nature. Basic physics, basic physics environments, almost like wind tunnels, but physics tunnels is basically or physics rooms, physics tunnels, physics environments is basically what it was. Physics environments is what I was creating. Like on the what was that considered? Infinite space physics environments. So I could create the best collision engines and everything of that nature. It was primarily starting off through dream states to figure out what algorithms I could transition over to computers and make it a simplified a simplified system that I could create virtual systems and real systems off of in order to create like wind tunnels and better. And then so the government caught wind of this after a while due to some of the actual environments I created in my dream states. And they're like, how'd you get so good? Like type reality. And I was like, that's kind of information we shouldn't really be talking about it, since it was all off of drugs and me wanting to figure out, not really figure out drugs, but I was trying to like not really sell drugs, but I was trying to, actually I was stuck in my drug eras. I was still young, so I was like, man, I want to be a king. I want to be a drug lord. Like, since it's legal, I want to be one of those legal drug lords. I mean, they made that one movie of those legal kids that were supposed to be legal drug lords right after, but I was like, I want to be a legal drug lord. And I like really dreamt about it, everything I could do, and then I thought about it and I was like, oh man, after like the government started loving me in my dream states and everything, and I became an actual drug lord in my dream states prior to these physics environments, I was like loved by every government because I created nothing but the purest drugs. I wouldn't really kill people. I would stop any illegal drugs that were killing people and whatnot, and I'd follow my drugs, and I'd still alleviate the market for the drug dealers in the area, and I would still like get them paid and whatnot. Eventually they'd merge with me, and I'd teach them legal businesses and stuff of that nature, and I eventually would gain them as not just drug partners, but legal entity partners that I'd use for my cover-ups and stuff of that nature. And I was generating not just like drug money, I was generating a ton of legal money. So the governments were loving me, and it was super dope. So, oh yeah, so I was cleaning up the system. So I got into cleaning up the drugs that people were selling, and what would actually, or not cleaning up the drugs, but preventing people from wanting to do drugs or getting hooked or stuck on drugs. And the reason, and I started figuring out why people would get hooked, what inclined values would make them, how they would get hyped up into getting hooked on drugs or becoming junkies or whatever, like the worst of the worst words that I don't even want to use. But becoming users, abusers, addicts, drugs, druggies, junkies, stuff of that nature. They're all just regular people to me, is how I saw it. So I was like, how could I find them a way to wean themselves either off the drug or wean themselves back into society as a normal drug user instead of a drug abuser, or sorry, as a normal citizen that would just be going around having fun, a recreational user, sorry, opposed to anything else. And then I started figuring out the different vitamins and nutrients and everything that flows with certain drugs and causes heighteners, boosters, alleviators, I think is what it's considered. And then alleviators oh man, it was just alleviators, and then fluctuators, alleviators and fluctuators, so they can normally transition throughout the day or process throughout the day. And it's not really just vitamin flow either. It became like a neurology thing, because I was trying to figure out what was causing all my like schizoactive, as I consider it, since I don't like the word at all. It's like schizoactive at the very least sounds less of an issue. But the way I was trying to mold that over, I ended up getting into neurology after that, just due to the fact that I was just completely trying to isolate every issue that was causing me to deviate from my current thought processes and completely be ruined and altered and completely have my thought processes controlled or polluted by like whatever's in my head talking to me or irritating me or pissing me off. Because I don't like people making me mad, and I don't like dumb people talking to me as it is. And when it's a dumb person that's talking to you in your head and like knows that there's no escape from the dumb person, oh, they keep going and they just make it even worse, and you have no escape. So you're stuck in your head trying to ignore a dumb person. It's impossible. It's impossible. So you end up losing your train of thought, and you end up losing everything. You end up losing years, months, sometimes, and then by the time you remember what you were thinking of that day, that AKA also known as an annoying person, it's just not even a joke. It's bad. It turns into years, and I've had it happen because I had like a few years where I was just It was the schizo activeness was just so bad that I couldn't really get a job. I was trying for it, but I couldn't really get a regular job that I wanted, just because I knew I didn't want to fluctuate or have it like result in me getting manslaughter or assault charges, or me ending up with blood on my hands because some fucking stupid person at work decided to like really piss me off or push me to the next level, or some stupid person in public thought it'd be a joke to try to get me to be schizoactive in public. I don't like that. I don't take it as a fucking joke. I don't take it as something lightly. So I would break someone's face in, and I'd completely keep punching back in those things. It wasn't just a one simple punch, knock out me, old school me. No, it was me having to get my point across. So I'd punch the person not just once, but a few times. And I don't mean like in a vicious, brutal way, just negating everything the pedophiles basically pedophiled into them. So it's just what it is. So I'd beat the shit out of them for a few consecutive seconds at the right points too. Like them trying to interject with what their stupid ass reason is, and me punching them before they even get a chance to really interject or to cause damage. Before they could cause any damage. So whatever, I was going through it heavily, and I was stuck trying to go to school, trying to figure out what designs to actually pursue. What designs to actually fully pursue in order to gain some funds, generate some interest, whatever, whatnot, what business structures and whatnot to actually like employ, or what are employable. Sorry, not to employ, but are employable, because not every business structure works in every era as well as you'd want, and sometimes you have to redefine a business structure way too much when it's easier to redefine a simpler business structure, like a contracting system, instead of going out and becoming a fucking corporation right away. I can just do it through an app, and boom, I make the billions, and then I pay for my corporation structures, and it's less expensive, less of a hassle, less legalities. That's the main issue. Less legalities, less less negative issues to deal with. You don't have to deal with all the errors that are going to be caused along the way by all your shitty ass pedophile employees. Like, all your employees aren't you. Even your kids are going to object to everything that you do when they get the chance, because a pedophile's going to get in their fucking heads and completely carry their aggroness to the next era, or their hype to the next era. And it's going to be against you, whether you like it or not. Because it only happens once you object to a pedophile. So boom, your kid automatically gets baited and raped. So, by pedophiles. Of everything. Their dignity, hype, everything. There's no chance in this country. Very good, how are you? Alright, I'm back, sorry. I had a job interview call. As I was just talking about it, as I lost my train of thought as to where I was going with this. Hopefully I get this job. It'll be a job in management, store lead for a store, and a chance to get my contractor's license, since I have like 4 years of on-call resume experience that I could just put on my resume. I figure I'm just gonna shoot for my contractor's license. Whatever though, I gotta stop raging out. Such a full-blown rage out. I get run through so much though. It's just like solo versus squads real quick. Oh, never mind the schedule. Unless he doesn't already. Well, that's good. Neurology segment is where I got stuck. I guess I could just continue from there. But the only reason I considered it was considered a neurology section opposed to like any of the other fields or any of the other industries, it's due to the fact that it was nutrients for neurological brain activity or whatnot, and physical, but it's primarily brain activity. Well, it's technically like 90% brain activity, and then the rest is like physical activity, even though it's like probably only like 60%, 60-40 or whatever, or even 50-50 with some of them, but it's like a 90-10% type reality fluctuation. That's what happens though. I rage a lot. I couldn't figure it out. Couldn't figure out why. It's just because it started provoking everything that I had already done that I did. I'll probably get just run through. I mean, it's all just dream state stuff. So I was like, oh man, I was just trying to get my head, not really head, but I was trying to get my whole. Actually, I was trying to get everything back in order. What? Oh, this coffee's got me so hopped up. Or it's one of these pedophile bitches getting raped off my dick, as they just said, causing that angst or fluctuation in my blood pressure that seems like it's coffee hype, but it's the pedophiles covering it up. Why? What's with the lag, dude? This sucks. No, I'm not so savage. I'm such a jerk right now. Not to mention, I was just thinking about it, but what if, since I guess my original construction experience, I never really put on my resume, or never really added to my resume, since it was all while I was in like high school and whatnot, and I was basically just on call. It was primarily summers, but I think it was like the first 2 years, or the first year, it was middle school and high school, it was through the summers. And then after that, it became on call. So just in case. And then I only have like 2 other years, not really 2 years, like a year and a half from like the other companies that I worked for. But just in case those don't hit, I just thought about it. I've been working for myself for the last like 5 years. Not really here and there, but throughout like salary, I guess. It's like a salary-based job. It's how I have to see it, or how I'd have to claim it in the government, because it's a 24/7 job as a CEO. Not whether I turned over a profit or not, since I haven't really started, or I haven't really gotten to the point where I'm where it's considered sales or anything of that nature. This is all just like the background work and the launching work. So I could just put a few years of establishing leads, learning, generating a market. As long as I word everything right as to how I developed and designed everything, it works out, and I have a few years of construction experience on that end. Not to mention my design experience being all architectural and construction based. So, and then 1 year of like trying to learn trying to learn landscape design. Well, actually trying to learn designs that are primarily landscape. but not really landscaping or landscape, but just like certain aesthetics, certain design aspects. That's what it is. Certain design aspects, not aesthetics or anything of that nature, but certain design aspects, and then seeing if I can push that. Not seeing if I can push that aspect, but seeing what parts of those aspects I can create either something new or just push into the next design or carry on the design. I already forgot what else I was going to say. Totally ruins everything. Some bad popularity for these golden chickens. To that. Let's see if I can make it past this coffee hype. Already lost a full tier for the day. And the worst part is when pedophiles in the government started learning pedophile systems that pedophiles would employ, such as like if I say I'm like like let's say my current season, I'm not even really pushing or grinding or anything, and I haven't been in previous seasons either, and I don't really set goals or anything of that nature, but I just kind of stick to like basic routines, just trying to fix like certain strategies, certain parts, not really parts, certain just fine-tuning my strategy. But whatever, so as I fine-tune my strategy, they'll claim that it's something completely different that I'm out there doing, and then they completely try to take they usually do. This is how the pedophiles in the government went around raping females with pedophiles in the area. But they would completely claim something against me. They would claim, oh no, you're just going around lying now. And pedophile, like even when I said that, pedophile would go around saying, oh, now you're just going around spewing something against my name or whatever. I'm like, no, you're a pedophile. Pedophiles are pedophiles regardless. And pedophiles that aid pedophiles are still pedophiles regardless of what pedophiles say. So the pedophiles go around sucker punching randoms as their pedophiles like roam around. And the pedophiles wonder why the pedophiles have like guns in my house, as their pedophiles are like roaming around with other pedophiles in the area that cover it up for pedophiles raping females and whatnot. So, it's like the same thing. They just go around doing it to cover everything up. It becomes a waste of my time. They separate servers to where there's no hotspot activity. Anytime I drop in, if the pedophiles know that they're gonna lose,
whether it's an argument or something else that they let one of their little fucking pedophile kids roam into, the pedophiles completely run off from the hotspot, as you can tell. Look, there's no pedophiles here. There's no one here at all. So they totally got mad. It's so savage, but it's how it happens. So as I was saying, so pedophiles would roam around lying about everything, and they would claim like, oh well, he was doing it for our system. It's such a fucking sad joke how these pedophiles roam around, all because a few pedophiles went around raping everything and lying about everything with a bunch of pedophiles that falsified information and claimed to have never been raped by certain pedophiles to cover up for other pedophiles. So the pedophiles roamed around with pedophiles that were covering even that up through the government. So it was even worse. So this is how the pedophiles came up with Rick and Morty, to cover up for everything that the pedophiles plagiarized from me. And they're like, oh no, we just used one of your systems where we just like use a popular topic or popular subject and we just recreate like a funny rendition of it. And then we plagiarize all your shit in the background and cover it up. But yeah, the pedophiles are on our side this time, so you can't say shit. And that's how pedophiles roamed around. But that's also a lie. Because pedophiles are still part of pedophiles. And they're just covering it up and trying to find their loophole out. How did I miss so many shots? The pedophiles still even say, well, we just took your idea and did it ourselves. I mean, that's not considered plagiarism because we're doing it. I'm like, fuck no, pedophile. You still get into my dream states just to figure out how the pedophile would actually talk. How the pedophile would actually script everything. And that's how you pedophiles get stuck in my head, that you pedophiles even start hugging me like, oh, we're in love with you. Like a bunch of stupid ass, disgusting pedophile drunks. Just because you guys are like, oh, you're just rating out because we're on your team for once. That's a fucking lie. They always stab me in the back. So this is why I just prep for everything as like a fucking doomsday endgame ending. I'm about to get raped in the ass, aren't I? That's all I can think in my head. Boom! And they claim it's a wedgie, but it's really some pedophiles like pedophilia going up your anus as if it were a wedgie. Butthole, booty hole raped, everything was fucking demolished. My butthole! They even called it a Rick and Morty. And it's really just called a Morty. Oh man! My Morty! Because that's how the pedophile bitch that went around covering up for pedophiles covered up for the pedophiles using her newest pedophile to pedophile the world with. Bitches don't pay me. And they ruin them anyways. And then they're like, no, let's see what your dumbass would have done to ruin them. I'm like, no, don't do that. I'm being serious. Don't do it. Look what's going to happen. And then bam. Then they see what happens. And they're like, look. Look what he was warning us against. And I'm fucking pissed the whole time. Trying to swing at a bunch of not realistic pedophiles. Pedophiles aren't really there. It's not going to kick the pedophile out. Pedophile's just going to roam around pedophiling everything anyways. And all the other pedophiles that are just pedophiling everything because pedophile is lying about not being part of pedophiles that are pedophiling everything. Now all the pedophiles are going to use that same pedophile lie and be like, oh, look, I can use it in my network, your network, this network, pedophile, privateer. We can even cover up pedophile as privateer. Oh man, pedophile. Oh man, we can take everyone's network, everyone's clients, everything. We can cover it up in the US and say that the laws changed. No client theft, anything of that nature. We own the internet. We own the laws. We can just break into buildings, blow them up, bomb them, fucking build new ones after we fucking rewrite everything. That's how these pedophiles broke into most of the US government buildings and whatnot and falsified laws about client theft. and clients and stuff of that nature. Now the pedophiles from Rick and Morty are like, oh, how many years ago did pedophile really rape you of everything? Oh man, and then the other pedophile is showing up too, so that means pedophile really pedophiled everything. And pedophiles go around covering up what pedophiles actually did. Just because they tried crying like pedophile bitches, but instead got like emulated as to how their pedophile asses would have cried. I don't care about how I would have cried. Pedophile got into my stuff. What the fuck do I do now? I'm about to. Why'd I say it? Why'd I say it? Why'd I say it? I shouldn't have said it. Be right back. Quick minute before I pee myself. Alright, I'm back. I knew I was going to be in the storm by the time I got done. Felt like my wang was about to rip off. Why can't I hit this kid? Oh, no way. That's so savage. That's hilarious. Oh, because I was busy thinking about my wet hands. To hilarious. Oh man, I should just click this. Oh, I don't have enough time. My hands are still wet on my back. Tink, tink, tink. I legitimately thought about pressing one button and it backfired on me so bad. Too savage. Music keeps going out. So they revived a bunch of the old game modes. Evo Ground section for the time being. So they revived Running Power as an Evo Ground mode. Unfortunately, and not just like a regular mode. But this mode would be epic in every map. The wind ability is my favorite, best to train with. Since it bypasses your device's regular parameters, it has to operate slightly faster just to deal with like the frame rate and everything of that nature, whatever. It just like operates cleaner, smoother, it looks cleaner, better, gets you more used to the deeper or the faster tactics. I don't know, it's weird. There's no good explanation for it. Worst part is when pedophiles really teamed up against me, and the government basically was part of pedophiles, and we were basically lied about it. But the pedophiles all teamed up against me and raped all the kids off of me, and I started shunning everyone out because I was so fucking wrecked and ruined before that as it was, and then all the kids started betraying me. So I was like, oh well, fuck, man, I didn't even want anyone in my fucking head as it was. To have everyone stab me in the back at this point is just fucking devastating, and I just don't want to deal with it. So any person that even talks to me or like betrays me in any way, shape, or form, even after they like get into like my actual heart, and I'm stupid as fuck, and I end up like being myself, and I end up trusting them, and then they end up fucking ruining me, expect to be kicked out for life. So the pedophiles that got kicked out, which were technically the original, were all the pedophiles that were getting kicked out anyways, ended up using all the kids and started using their six-eyed pedophile tactics throughout all the kids and as part of all the kids. And then they come to me trying to fucking like ruin everything else that I really I don't even have anything. They ruined everything already. Like the last of all of my all my good work was basically anything that I would have sold to kids. That I would have sold for kids to have in life, that I would have sold as like, basically it's just kids media. So I like, there's no way to put it into words. I didn't even, it was worse than reclusing, it was worse than anything. But no. Look at that lag, dude. The guy's on the other side. It's hilarious. So whatever, I reclused. Pedophiles started, or not reclused. I basically stood my ground, and I basically avoided everyone. And pedophiles started using kids to ruin everything, and I started kicking out kids. I started kicking everyone out, and I forgot where I was going with this. Or it ruined some of these kids. Well, actually, it eventually ruined well, it didn't really ruin it. It kind of did. It made them all the scapegoats, so they started getting brutalized. Oh, fuck, man, I forgot where I was going with this. got irritated. Can't believe I just died. It's this coffee.